of the most reason why I am pushing for the Northwest to take over the helm of the Senate presidency. Kind of distributing position to places where there is failure. You are like incentivizing failure.
Hi guys, Ida Red for Southeast APC members. Adamu Garba don come out talk say Senate president can never come out from Southeast, that it should be from Northwest. That's another Muslim to be the Senate president. He described Southeast APC members as failure. This is a strong message to all the people that work against Peter Obi and obedient movement for Tinubu to be declared president-elect. Oju Zokaro and his crew can never get what they are looking for. Guys, watch this video and you will hear many things that Adamu Garba has to say, and don't forget to share your thought with us.
You feel this is the best criteria to decide who becomes the president of the Senate?
You see, if you look at, thank you by the way, you know, again, you see, we need to appreciate democracy in Nigeria. We've come a long way from 1999. And that a lot of stability have been achieved from the executive to legislative and to judiciary. And if you look at even the countries surrounding us within the sub-African world, or even sub-Saharan Africa generally, there is no country that is as stable as Nigeria when it comes to democracy. I think we have gone far. And we should be able to learn our lessons, you know, from history, our failures and our successes, and be able to correct them as we move forward. And these are one of the most reasons why I am pushing for the Northwest to take over the helm of the Senate presidency. It is high time for us to be rewarding performance, to be rewarding competency, and to pay attention to the zone of influence in all our appointments. The moment you keep consolidating or kind of distributing position to places where there is failure, you are like incentivizing failure. Why are you going to carry Senate presidency to the zone, for instance, let me say Southeast, that gave us 1.5% of the total vote that produced the presidency? Or maybe if you go back to the South-South, that gave us 8.7%. Meanwhile, the Northwest gave 30%. 30% of the total vote that produced the presidency is coming from the Northwest. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to ensure that we produce the Senate presidency from the zone where we get mass, so that we can keep appreciating more for giving us more as much as possible, so that the next time when we come to ask for them, they will give us more because we have appreciated their giving. But the situation whereby we carry it to dump in a place where we did not get the value that we are supposed to get.
So you're saying now it's about the party politics that superintends over the wish of Nigeria. And I ask you that, marry that with the fact that does religion not matter anymore? Because as it stands right now, the president-elect is a Muslim.
Yes.
The vice president-elect is a Muslim. And you're pushing for the Northwest. And of course, looking at all those who've indicated their interest, they're all Muslims as well.
Yeah. Northwest is a zone. And in National Assembly politics, we don't have anything called religion. Right? It is something that has to do with the zone of power, because most of those representatives come to represent zones in their state. So you need to look at it based on these zones, and you have to also appreciate the key performance indicators that gave us the win. Because if we don't win election, we can't sit and be talking this way here. So as much as possible, we have to incentivize the area where we get our votes as much as possible, especially Kano. You know, Kano is the state where we always regularly record the highest amount of votes in this country. And now it was clear that we are likely, with the outcome of the last election, we've lost Kano. Even though we get about 513,000 votes, but we lost Kano. But then we have a senator from that same Kano who was able to defeat the Konkwasiya tsunami that swept Kano and come to the center. So that is the kind of person we need to empower, we need to incentivize, so that we can reclaim Kano in 2027.
Okay, now,
yes.
From what you've said so far, you're still going around on that same spot of your internal politics. Because you are saying that because you got most of the votes in the elections from the Northwest, you're pushing for someone from the Northwest to be the Senate president.
Yeah.
That's your internal politics. We're not disputing that. We're not against that. But what about the national interest? What about what's better for the common good, the whole of the country, as against your internal politics? Shouldn't we be putting national interest ahead of internal politics of a party?
You see, there is no better national interest than this. Politics is a game of numbers, and interest is determined by the number of participation. That's how it is determined. Those that participated has clearly indicated interest to belong. When I am not interested and you drag me into something, I'll just corrupt it because I'm not interested. So in a situation wherever we're talking about national interest, we should look into that national interest from the point of appreciating performance and outcomes, as opposed to just paying attention to some primordial interest about this Nigeria's configuration that has not worked. Don't forget, the same Saudis and South, especially let me say Saudis, occupied almost 5 different Senate presidents in Nigeria. Has that stopped the agitations we are seeing? It does not stop the agitations.
So what's the
way forward is to solve the root cause of the problem, and the only way to solve the root cause of the problem is to appoint a strong government in place, an organized government, and appreciate those that have performed, so that tomorrow you can come back to power.
So what assurance that bringing a Senate president from the Northwest will stop such agitations?
I think it is going to perfectly do that, because you will have a united, consolidated, organized government that are going to carry out the programs of the incoming government without any rancor. That is one of the most important things.
Are you saying lawmakers from other regions cannot work hand in hand with the president-elect if they do not come from the Northwest?
They can, but they did not give us the results that should qualify them to be able to win. Let me give you an example. Oju Zokalo, I saw on the TV, and that he scored about 47,000 votes to come back to the Senate. But our president, APC, scored 8,000 votes in the whole of Abia State. And then you carry the whole Senate presidency and take there. Oh, we are talking about, again, let's go back to the South Side. Let's go back to Akwa Ibom. You get only like 87,000 votes where Akwa Ibom come from, in Akwa Ibom. But in Kano, one senator that emerged from there, Barau Jibrin, who I would prefer our party, to make sure that we nominate that man as the next Senate president. That man got 22,000 votes.
So it's about
only
the
his
vote he gives to the party, not his capability.
He has capability
to actually head the 10th Assembly.
Now, let me explain.
So what makes him qualified more than this others who've indicated interest to head the 10th Assembly? Because all you're talking about is about party politics and not the competence of the senator you're pushing for.
No, I think he's the most competent among all the list of the senators.
Why do you think so? Why?
Number one, he's the only ranking senator among all the ones that have declared to aspire for the presidency. And if you know the Senate very well, even the sitting arrangement is defined by ranking. Even the sitting arrangement. And this is a global system. That is how it is obtained in the US. That's how it's obtained in all the places that practice our kind of democracy. That is why somebody like Joe Biden was a senator for 42 years. So when you have bank of experience, you have to reward this bank of experience with responsibility, so that you don't go and bring newbies or governors that are just coming to retire in Senate to drive the policy of your country. You don't need that. We need career senators, people that are ready, people that are built for National Assembly position, people that can deliver the outcome, like Senator Barau Jibrin.
Career senators, the cool
yes.
Well, we'll wait and see how things play out and see if the APC will zone it, talking about the Senate presidency to the Northwest. We'll wait and see. But for now, we'll have to say thank you so much to you, Adamu Garba, of course, a former presidential aspirant. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.